Natalie Miles, welcome to Fear Unzipped. I am so delighted to have you here. Timing couldn't be more perfect. And I want people to know a little bit about you. You're an intuitive, you're a medium, you're a psychic, you're internationally acclaimed, you're an author, you're a speaker. I mean, what else could you be doing? What is it that you have a course that teaches intuition in the best way that they have experienced? You created the Intuitive Foundation. I took your quiz, which is something like, what is your intuitive type? Oh my gosh, so much information. And that was free, folks. Do that. So let's just jump in. And what I like to start with is, what is your backstory? Like, what got you to where you are today? Because I find we have a lot of all of us have a lot of similarities in our backstory. So let's just jump right in and let's hear about Natalie.
I worked in film. Did that in my 20s. I worked as a decade in film before life had other ideas of what it really wanted me to do. But it always felt like I was working in film. Like, I loved it. I love creativity. I love the process, and bringing creative ideas to life. And for me, it then made sense, like, when I stepped into doing this work full time, because there is something around how I receive messages and how I bring to life and share messages, that there is an interesting similarity crossover where I'm like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. But when I was working in film, there was always something missing. Or I was like, yeah, something's not right. They kept offering me like more responsibility, be a director. And I was just like, I don't really want to do that. That doesn't really feel like aligned. So I grew up in the UK. I then moved to Canada. I was living out in Vancouver, out in Canada for nearly 10 years. I'm now back in the UK. But it was interesting that I also found that I started this work up full time, started my business up full time when I was in Canada. So when I was away from, you know, family, friends, it was uh, all the old structures that was like, this is who we know is Natalie. That it was like when I was, taken out of that, that I returned to my intuition and, um, yeah, started going deeper into this work. And a mentor said, you do know you're going to be doing this full time, right? And I was deep in film and I kind of laughed. And then that's exactly what obviously has unfolded. So yeah, it's been a crazy journey.
So, what are some tools that you would recommend that when you're in overwhelm? Because right now the energies are ricocheting back and forth
Yeah.
all over.
For you as a channeler, empath, sensor, yeah, I mean, it's just, as you say, the complete bombardment and the complete sensitivity of all the information that you're receiving through people and the psychic energy that's coming through, that's giving you timelines and insights and downloads, which is great. It makes you super connected. When I'm in those spaces and there is that, I love that you said junkie TV, because that's one thing that I love to do. It's literally, it's like, okay, give me Netflix, give me something cheesy to watch, that is going to literally take me, so I don't have to, I don't have to tune in. Other things I love to do, um, I think covering your head is also really big. So for me, even at home, when I'm feeling really overwhelmed and I'm feeling this like flood of energy or this flood of frequency, especially on my crown, and I'm just feeling like, when it's so overwhelming and you can barely keep your eyes open because it just feels like it's really coming in that strong. For me, I'll either put a hat on in the house, like a beanie, or I'll get a scarf and I will cover my head. You can see why in different religions they cover their heads, because for me, it has really allowed me to just protect my crown and protect the frequencies that are coming in. And for me, I've even done it when I'm sleeping. So if I'm feeling like I've gone to bed and I'm still feeling that overwhelm of information that's coming through, I'll go to bed wearing a hat, or I'll put a scarf over my head to just be like, I can't, not right now, please. So that's really helpful as a tool and as a practice.
Let's talk about fear and intuition and how can we loosen our grip on fear a bit by listening to our intuition?
Yeah. So I always say there is the kind of ego fear voice and the intuitive voice. And it's like, how on earth do you distinguish between the two? Because you then talk yourself out of how do you start decipher it? Because then you're like, am I making this up? Is this bullshit? Is this just my anxiety telling me that something bad's going to happen, or it should get my attention? So for me, I always say that the intuitive voice will come in, give you a message, and it disappears. It's like you gotta grab it and you gotta listen and it goes. Um, versus your fear and your anxiety voice, it will come in and it will go round and round and round, and it will, and there's just a different tone to it. The intuitive voice has a presence, a calmness, an authority that just feels like a warm hug, even though it can be bringing you, information that you need to act on. Um, versus again, the anxiety and the fear voice can feel like someone's barking orders at you, like a sergeant barking orders. And for me, I also begin to realize where your intuition sits in your body, where versus where your anxiety fits in your body. For me, I know that when I'm feeling anxious, I will feel a tight chest. I will feel it, in my heart space again, where it's like, well, I know for me personally, my intuition doesn't sit in the body. So if I'm getting a message or I'm feeling something in my body, I'm like, okay, that's not intuition, that's fear and anxiety. And one thing that people do always ask is like, well, can, you can get an intuitive message that comes in, gives you the message, disappears. But then the anxiety hits because then you realize, oh, I've got to take action. Oh, something's not right. Oh, this is asking of me to kind of grow and expand and do something different. And that can also kind of get merged. So you forget that it was your intuitive voice that came in, and you kind of then blend it and think, oh, it's my anxiety or my fear talking. So those are kind of my main ways of kind of differentiating between them.
So when they start merging like that, what do you do?
Yeah, stop. Stop, pause, get out into nature,
Mhm.
go and do something different, go and do something that basically re-regulates your central nervous system, that you can then feel the clearness and the clarity to either interact with your guides and your spirit team and be like, okay, give me it, tell me again. Go and pull some cards around it that, is so interesting. So many people, you know, start doing this stuff when they need an answer, when they want something now. Again, you're only going to get the fear and anxiety voice in response to that. Actually, you should be journaling, channel writing, pulling cards, or just sitting quietly and asking your guides when you don't need, when you're not desperate for the
Yeah.
answer.
So, what are things that you feel people can do so we can start listening to our intuition? Maybe somebody's just starting to do this. What are some tools that we can do?
I love two things. One is noticing. For me, it's like the power of noticing. In the end,
Mhm.
our intuition isn't just through our bodies. It's through um, the power of noticing what is around you. So taking the pause and moment to literally soak in what's happening, because around you there will be themes, patterns,
Mhm.
messages, guidance, signs. that are like continually trying to get your attention. If you keep hearing the same word being repeated, whether it's in music, you're watching a TV show or a film and the same theme keeps coming up, it's trying to get your attention. And so intuition isn't always going to sound like you're receiving a message from with a voice in your head or you're hearing the voice of God. It will come around like with, around you in your day-to-day life, trying to get your attention. And the other thing I'd say is, if I'm honest, go and take my quiz, my free quiz, because it will tell you how your intuition is going to show up for you personally, which will give you a drop in of being like, that makes sense.